Alrighty, YouTube, how are you guys doing? Gonna be going for a ride here. My scooter. I just filled up the tank. Been a menagerie of mixtures and stuff in that tank. I do from time to time. I'll run just straight gasoline in it, but sometimes I'll put a menagerie of this and that and a little bit more of this and some of that, and it's just kind of funny. But started up here. It's kind of a warm start. Today's hot, so see if it'll start up with no choke. Nope. Or might help if it's on. Nope. Alright. So it's cold enough to not start with choke. Take the choke off. It's a little bit cold right now, so it's not giving me maximum power, so I'm going to go warm it up, get it going, and turn the camera back on. Well, that scared the crap out of me. It's coming up and over that bridge over there. Got up and over the bridge and noticed I wasn't having as much power as I should have. It's still coming up over the bridge, and finally came around this. I came around here. About here, my spark plug just popped out. That thing has come loose from the vibrations. I never just finger tight these spark plugs, and I tighten them down real tight with a ratchet and such. But that's come out. It came right out of there, and that is hot. Touched this plastic right here just for a few seconds, and it melted. Ouch, 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 ouch. That's really hot. So yeah, I thought I lost the threads. I thought it was so hot that it let the threads go, and I thought I saw threads still on there when I looked back. But man, that scared the crap out of me. So I was going, it went, and it went, and it was making all sorts of noises coming out of there. That scared the heck out of me. I was thinking, oh, actually what I said when I pulled off to the side of the road, I said, well, there goes that engine. But no, it was just spark plug just came out. It had all sorts of, it's all one heck of a noise though. I wish you heard it. So when I did that cold start at the very beginning of the video, that was almost coming out. That's probably why I didn't feel like there was very much compression there. Well, that is why. It's not probably why. That is why. So I'm gonna get the spark plug back in and get home real quick, and then get that tightened down, and then go warm it up again. Sorry for the camera work. In the street. So he's going real fast. When I was holding it wide open, I was going mostly uphill. Well, I just went 2 cities down. Holy crap. It's probably 20 miles down, 20 miles back. Been out for about 2.5 hours. No, longer than that. Maybe 3. Oh. Chain popped off a few times, but I burn up these chains so quickly that it almost doesn't even matter. I've got a thicker chain that next time this one breaks, I'm going to be getting a larger, or 1 tooth larger up here, and 2 teeth smaller back here. Make this thing higher top speed, and putting a much thicker chain on there. It's like twice as wide, twice as thick. One that'll actually last me. You can look at that tire. It's getting almost bald in some spots. I've lost a lot of rubber just running down there and back. Although this thing does have a lot of power, when you pull out throttle, it really rips. Really rips. It rips through the power, you know. Oh man, that was a ride. Now, one thing you've got to do after you drive for a really long time on any 2-stroke, that's whether you're driving it or you just weeded with it or you just mowed with it, doesn't matter. Mowing really almost doesn't matter, but you know, if you're going to be pulling the throttle a lot and you know you're going to be running it around for a little while, even if you run it around for like 20 minutes, to make a 2-stroke engine last a long time, you've got to warm it up gently. You don't start it and pull at full throttle and run it like that the whole entire time. And you can't just do that. You just can't. I mean, you can, but you won't have an engine for very long. What you got to do is you start it up, let it sit for about a minute, minute and a half, and then you run it about half throttle. Don't run it full throttle at all. Just run about half throttle. Putt around. Let it warm up gently. Then about maybe a mile, maybe less, of doing that, of running it gently. Then you can give into the throttle a little bit more until it's truly warmed up all the way through, because the piston rings, the piston, and the chamber, they're all different casts of metal, and each cast of metal will, either type or cast of metal, will expand differently and expand at different rates of speed. So you gotta let it gently warm up, because if you just hit it hard, one thing might expand more than another, and that can damage an engine. So you gotta gently warm it up, and then I ran it hard. Like, I ran it full throttle a lot of the way. This muffler's extremely hot. It's cooling down now. Full throttle, but if you do run it at full throttle, you gotta run it in cycles. You can't just run full throttle the whole entire time for like 10 minutes straight. You won't have an engine. You gotta run it in cycles. So, I would run it full throttle for maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes, running on the street, and then I would stop and let it cool down. Not like stop, but run it half throttle, run at half speed, let it really cool down, let it recuperate, and then I would hit it again, hit it hard and full throttle. Well, not absolute full throttle, that would damage the engine, but like, see, here's full throttle, maybe like that much, enough to get me going, pretty quick. And just run it in cycles, and then after you're done driving, you gotta let it cool down. Like just now, I would ran all the way down and all the way back, and before just shutting it off, you gotta let it cool down. You almost act like it's got a turbo on it. You know what I mean? You gotta let the engine cool down a little bit. So what you do is you run it at half throttle when you're getting close to home. Let it cool down, let the engine work itself through, because when the engine's running, it's pushing air through somewhere. Let it cool down a little bit, and then once you get home, let it run for a good 2 minutes before you shut it off. Because if you don't, you know, there can be damage. That's how I've got this engine to last me for a long time, and I've lost absolutely no compression. And another thing, yeah, this is just a cheap engine, yes, but it's a good one because I've been treating it so well. And I've opened it up a little bit so it breathes better too. I don't like those mufflers that they come with. They don't let them breathe enough. There's too much having to be forced through for it to, you know, breathe or function correctly. But I'm gonna let it cool down. And another thing, run high quality oil through it. Most people will just pick a cheap oil, like you know, Briggs and Stratton, or some chainsaw oil, or, you know, some whatever 2-stroke oil, some off-brand, whatever. It says 2-stroke, I'm going to use it. You got to pick some good 2-stroke oil. If you want it to last you as long as you think it'll last you, you got to treat it well. I run Lucas 2-stroke racing oil in this. It's good for injected or premix. This is premix. And that stuff's actually cheap the way I buy it. I buy it in bulk. I'll buy it in like a 1.5 quart, 2-quart bottle. And that's only like $5. It's cheap. A lot cheaper than buying those, you know, the 1-gallon bottles for $1. A lot cheaper. I mean, loads cheaper. I get the Lucas Racing 2-stroke oil at an auto parts store. It's you can get it at Checker Auto, you can get it at AutoZone, you can get it at O'Reilly's. I think you can get it at AutoZone, don't quote me on that, but I know you can get it at O'Reilly's auto parts stores. And then just, you know, measure it. I run that stuff in all of my 2-strokes. And, sorry, this is going to be kind of a long ending. I run 91 octane. Runs cleaner. Much cleaner, runs better. Doesn't the engine doesn't have to work so hard to get you going somewhere. It can easily push you somewhere, you know, and there's not so much carbon buildup from it. So yeah, those are my little secrets and tips. I hope you have a good one, YouTube. See ya. Bye.